I went ahead and did a trial of GameFly for renting Blu-ray discs, 4K Blu-ray discs, and kind of wanted to give my review of the service. So there's really 3 services that allow you to rent movies via the mail. Netflix is still hanging out there. We've got GameFly, who's been around almost as long as Netflix. Of course, given the name, they got their start with games a long time ago, but they've been renting movies for quite a while too. And then 3D Blu-ray rental. So I trialed the 2-disc 4K Elite plan. Didn't do anything with games, just focused on movies and focused on seeing what their 4K content library and the mechanics of the service, how it worked and all of that. And over the course of the last few weeks from this video, I've filled up my queue. I've had a few movies sent to me. I've sent them back and gotten a feel for kind of how all of their logistics go. So the nice thing about GameFly, given they have games and movies, is they give you the flexibility to really subscribe to what you want. There's a bunch of different subscription options across a variety of price points, some for games and movies, some for movies only, and then even within movies, you can choose whether you want just like DVD Blu-ray or you also want 4K, with of course the ability to rent 4K discs being a little bit extra. But for the 4K Elite plan, 2 discs rented out at a time, no monthly limits, you're looking at about 18 bucks. 2 discs is the most that GameFly will let you have at any individual time, but the plans allow you to choose 1 or 2. So as such, the actually renting volume is unlimited. So I say that in that there's not a specific cap in terms of the number of titles that you might be able to rent in a given month, but you're limited just by the factor of time. GameFly is a serialized service, meaning you put stuff into the queue, they send it to you, when you're done with it, you send it back, and then they send you the next one. So there's some lag time involved. There's a little bit of cross-shipping time involved as well. But essentially, within a given month, the number of discs that you will be able to get is going to be limited by the amount of time it takes for stuff to come to you in the mail, however long you hold it before you consume it, and then drop it in the mail back to them. So there's a functional limit as it is. I'd say it seems to take on the order of a few days from something indicating it was leaving my queue to come to me before it arrived at my doorstep. And so nominally speaking, if you had a 2-disc plan, I would expect to be able to get a couple of movies sent back. The next ones arrived maybe within a week. So you're probably talking about, I'd say nominally 10. If you had 2 discs out at a time over the course of 4 weeks, you could probably comfortably rent 10 discs in a month. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on factors like how close you just happened to be to wherever they were sending the discs from, how fast like mail in your city generally processes, and other factors like that. The nice thing though is they do allow for what they call fast returns. So as soon as you package up a disc and you drop it in the mail to go to them, as soon as the post office, the carrier kind of recognizes that's been scanned in and it's in the mail system, somehow, some way, magically through the power of the internet, GameFly gets an indication that this disc has been returned. It's on its way back to them. So they'll go ahead and kick into processing the next item on your queue. They call it fast return, and that's where the cross-shipping piece comes in. So while that 1 disc that you sent is making its way back to them, within a day or so of getting the indicator, they'll have the next one off to you. So it's not a straight serial delay in terms of sending, waiting, and them sending and waiting to turn discs over in your hands. But again, it's still a few days to process, and so GameFly isn't going to be like a high volume per month disc rental service compared to some of the options that 3D Blu-ray rental has in its subscription plans. I will say the queue system is awesome. It's kind of like basically what you would really expect for a service like this. Let me put in a bunch of movies that I know I want to see. I can put new release stuff in there. I can put old stuff in there. The queue lets you log up to 50 titles, which is pretty deep. And then as it processes, it's basically hands off, right? Manage your queue, get stuff sent to you, send it back, and the next ones will pop. I also like how they indicate basically what the availability of the title is. So it'll say hi or some other indicator. So if you have titles that are at the top of your queue and you want to manage it a little bit, you can know whether there's a likelihood that they're going to ship fast, whether there might be a little bit of a waiting delay before the next one in the queue. And I didn't really experience it firsthand, but I would presume, I would hope, I guess, that if you have like low availability titles at the top of your queue, GameFly will do some analysis and maybe jump over those items in the queue instead of just hanging and sitting if they feel it's really going to be too long before they can send you the next title. So the library itself is pretty decent. Again, I'm only talking about movies. I didn't really look and search for anything with regards to games. but it's not the same catalog movie library as 3D Blu-ray rental. There were some cases where I was looking for titles and they weren't there, and some oddball cases where, like, searching for Indiana Jones, they're missing one of the Indiana Jones movies. Why would you have three of a pretty landmark, cinema, 4-movie series and not have that? Is it because the disc got damaged along the way, or the stock of that disc got damaged and it's not there? Did they sell it? Somebody opted to buy it and they weren't renting it enough, so they just sold it off the service. But I definitely noticed holes. And so that's something that I would recommend if you were to trial it and see if it's something that you would want to use long term. Think about the types of titles that you would actually be inclined to watch or want to rent, and do some searches up front during your trial period and make sure that they're there, because you may find that some of the things that you would prefer to rent might not actually be available on the service, or there might be some gaps. You can buy used content, and they have programs, a rewards program and sales. And I've noticed in my queue as well that it makes me an offer. Like, if you want to keep this disc, here's the purchase price. Click buy and you can have it. That's fine. I guess it's nice that they have, discount and reward program and all of that, facilitating that. Just me personally, though, I didn't transact to purchase any discs from them. And quite honestly, if I wanted to own a physical media release of something, I probably want to own it for a reason. And just me personally, I would be inclined to go buy the release myself. If you really cared about it, you'd probably want to spend the extra $5 or whatever it might be and just buy a new copy of the commercial release. If anybody out there leverages GameFly and you find yourself buying content from them, sound off in the comments, I suppose, and share some of your experience. So yeah, that part of the service just doesn't appeal to me. I do like their mailers. It's what you would expect. Netflix, they all kind of do a similar thing. You have the paper envelope, but they always use cardboard sleeves. They only send you one movie in a sleeve at a time. And it's this nice fold-out, protected, sturdy kind of mailer. It's nicely printed. Let's see if I can get that to focus in. Right, nicely printed. The movie, the summary is on there. So packaging-wise, I think this is probably amongst the best of these mail order services. So comparison time. What about GameFly? I wanted to rent discs, or you want to rent discs. Is GameFly better, or is 3D Blu-ray rental better? Well, like many things, there's pros and cons, and it's kind of an it depends type of answer. So GameFly definitely wins on cost, on dollar value, essentially. 2 discs, unlimited rentals, $18 a month is a pretty decent cost for what you're getting there. If you were to take the same $18-ish and go spend it with 3D Blu-ray rental, you're getting a subscription plan that gives you 2 discs out at a time, but a maximum of 4 discs a month. So you can get a much larger volume of movies at the lower end of the spending cost with GameFly. However, if what you really wanted was volume, you really wanted a larger volume of movies to be able to rent and go through your hands in the course of a month, then 3D Blu-ray rental at the top end, it would be the preferable service. Because for $53 a month over there, you can have 8 titles out at a time, up to a maximum of 16 rented a month with that subscription plan. And I don't think, based on my experience, again, with the timing and the lags and the delays and all of that, I don't think you can come close to 16 movies a month with GameFly. So I'll give props again to the queue. The queue system on GameFly is so much better than the ordering system on 3D Blu-ray rental. I'm surprised 3D Blu-ray rental has been around so long as it is in the years of e-commerce, and they don't have a queue system. 3D Blu-ray rental is more ad hoc, meaning you have to place the orders discreetly for the discs. And you can see your order history, but it doesn't even really do a great job of having a web portal that tells you, okay, what do I have ordered? What's open? What do I have in my hands right now? What's still pending? What's in a wait list? What hasn't shipped? You have to track that a lot more manually with 3D Blu-ray rental. So GameFly definitely wins on the carding and e-commerce infrastructure of the site. But all that said, 3D Blu-ray rental takes the cake in a couple different regards. One is they let you more explicitly cross-ship. So you can actually, and I found too that they're pretty liberal about honoring the count of current movies that are in your hands at a time, especially when those discs are being transited back and forth or crossing each other as they're sending you stuff and you're sending stuff back to them. So with 3D Blu-ray rental, you can place more orders And then as things arrive very quickly, that day, place your order for the next title. And this is how they recommend that you use the service, so that while you're consuming the disc, or maybe it takes you a couple days to watch it or whatever, your next title might already be on its way. Less of a serial queue, despite GameFly's fast returns, and more of like a deliberate cross ship, making the flow of movies much more kind of deterministic, predictable, and regular with 3-day Blu-ray rental. Again, particularly if you're choosing that 8-disc 16 max plan, you can have stuff going back all month. And with 8 discs allowed in your hands at a time, plus some allowances for cross-shipping, you never really have to worry about limits. You never have to worry about whether like you've got something that you might want to choose from in hand to watch. And then again, the library. So 3-day Blu-ray rental really specializes in having like the massive catalog. They get every release. They have import titles. So 4K discs that might not have been released in the US came out in another region. 4K Blu-ray is region free. They have those, although sometimes those are at a premium price and they're not included in your subscription. As noted, I think GameFly, they do have the superior mailer. Sometimes 3D Blu-ray rental will put 2 discs in paper sleeves together in one envelope. To me, I think in the long run, that probably leads to discs getting a little more worn. So yeah, so if you had to make a choice then, which service would you want? Well, if you want to just watch some movies with a pretty nice selection for under 20 bucks a month, go with GameFly. It's cheaper, it's simpler, the queue system, set it, forget it, add stuff. Assume that you're not looking for rare import or obscure titles. But if what you really care about is volume and you're prepared to pay for it and access to the much bigger catalog, then you've got 3-day Blu-ray rental. 52 bucks a month is a heavier cost than 18, but you're going to have access to a whole lot more stuff. Sound off in the comments. If you're a subscriber to either of these services, do you use one or the other? Do you use both for different reasons? Share with the folks here like why you chose one versus the other. What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the virtues? What do you like? And do check out the video popping up where I go into a little more deeper detail in my 3D Blu-ray rental review. Thanks so much for watching. Please do all the regular YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share the video, and all that. And if you'd like to support the channel more monetarily, there's super thanks. Amazon affiliate links are awesome. There's merchandise and more down in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Coming back for more home theater discussion and fun.